Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so Aquarius, today our card is the Star, which I'm always happy to see. It is usually about our long-term goals, those big dreams that we've had, the things we've been working towards. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what are these tea leaves going to tell us today. And so if you'd like to like the video, leave a comment, or what's the other thing? Oh, so hit the subscribe button. I usually do it in a different order. Or hit the subscribe button. I would love for you to do so. It is free to subscribe, and I would love for you to come back and watch your other readings, your other major placements, that moon sign, that rising sign, the Venus. Some people watch Saturn. I know I do. I watch my Saturn readings for sure, and so on. So let's take a look here. So we have a horse right in the middle. That's like the first thing that I'm seeing. So cute right here in the middle of the bowl. We have a horse. You can see the body, the tail. Here's the head. We have a person who is reaching out, almost kind of like coaxing it over. Now the horse almost always anyways, usually I should say, symbolizes movement in life, right? Something where, yeah, you've intentionally decided to get over to the barn. You're getting the horse ready. You're putting the saddle on it. You're climbing on up there and you are riding out into the sunset, right? Or maybe you're hooking a cart to it and you're packing it up and you're deciding that you're going to move somewhere. You're going to change your job. You're going to start a new relationship, end a relationship, these kinds of things, okay? So I'm looking at this and I feel like, yeah, you are working towards getting to the place where you can make this change in your life, whatever it is that you've been hoping for, that you have been dreaming of. Now, I'm sorry, I'm wearing my necklaces and they're clanking over here. I did not even think about that, so hopefully that's not too loud. Now, we have right in here, it looks like the number 26, okay? So we're going to look at it as 2 and 6 and 92, okay? 92, 26 and 92. So we have this energy of building up to a big move, which makes sense with that Star card. Now, it looks like we have the horse again. You can see the head here. Here's the body, and maybe I would say this is the tail area. We have a person sitting over here. You can see the head. You can see it's kind of a side profile here. Here's the eye or the eyebrow, the nose, the mouth, the body. That looks like they're sitting down. They have maybe a person in front that is holding a dandelion seed pod, right? And if you can imagine what these might look like, they are the things that grow all over the grass, right? If you don't if you don't keep them out of your lawn, which I do not. I have a million of them. And they have that little white ball, right? And you pick it and you make a wish and you blow it and all of the seeds, they disperse, and then you have a million other dandelions coming soon. And so to me, when I see this, I think, yeah, there will be a wish that is granted. Okay. Now, this might be that star energy. This might be that dream, that hope, that thing that has kept you moving forward, expanding your skill set expanding your ability to, you know, move upward in your career. Maybe it's the home or the area that you have been trying to get moved to, where you want to live. This is your dream place. Maybe it's the, you know, the knight in shining armor, or the beautiful, you know, goddess that you are trying to court or marry, or you know, have a family with, or just, you know, be together, have a nice relationship. You know, it might be any of these things. It could be all of these things. But I do see that for you, it's not something that you're going to leave up to chance. And makes sense to me, as, you know, looking at an Aquarius, any of the major Aquarius people, right? If you're a solar, lunar, I myself am a lunar, ascendant, Venus. Yeah, we're not really good at just being like, okay, I'm going to sit around and wait till this happens, right? We might think that we're going to go that route, but then we're kind of chilling, we're sitting, we're waiting. Well, maybe it's time for me to see what I can do to get this going along a little more quickly, right? We like to be involved in the thing. We like to be right there in the matter itself. And so I feel that you've been doing all that you can to see yourself through this, right? So if this is like your big dream of your life, you want to be a spiritual being, a holy being, right? Whatever that looks like to you. If you're going to be a monk sitting in, you know, an ashram somewhere in the, you know, vast wilderness, or if you're going to be somebody who, you know, maybe you start your own church, or your own community center, or, you know, some kind of class or healing, or, you know, whatever it is. I could see you really, really focused on the study, focused on the practical experience, the direct experience, right? Getting in there, really working with people, getting in there, reading the texts, getting in there, doing the rituals, the ceremonies, you know, abiding the tenets, getting through those rites of passage. And you're just a very proactive person, and I see you right in there. And that's why I just keep seeing you with this horse. And now you're not atop the horse, right? You're not riding it yet, but you're getting it ready, right? You're giving it this little carrot, this little straw, you know, making sure it's fed, brushing it down, getting everything ready to put the saddle on. It's a very intentional space that you are in. And it is my belief that this is going to really bless the work that you are doing, because you are giving it such care and ultimately setting yourself up to succeed, and for this thing to really take hold, for you to you know, really stay on the path towards this big dream that you have. And so I see right in the middle this person who is kind of, I almost feel like not a physical being, but some kind of flow of energy and archetype, maybe even an intelligence of some kind. Maybe it is something sentient or something projected, but I do feel like it's almost kind of like coming around to bring this blessing and, you know, kind of lay it at your feet, so to speak, right? And seeing this person in the seated position, it makes me believe that there is not only action, but there is deep contemplation occurring right now. you are formulating, you are adjusting, you are looking at all of the variables and really figuring out what is going to be the best way to start here, right? And if I have started and I've already kind of hit some little bumps or hiccups, it's not that you are quitting, but readjusting. And I feel such an excitement. That's the thing. Now, we also have the number 1 down here. And to me, it feels like it's almost like a rebirth process that has been occurring, right? You're in that, like, still excited for things, still just full of, it's not just excitement, full of wonder, full of, now it's not that you are naive, right? I don't think this is your first time around, because I feel that there is a confidence. I think that you know where you're headed, you know what you're doing, but there's still a newness, right? You have not become worn to this. It's like, have you ever had the experience of smelling something really strong, right? Like, well, I don't know, bleach or something. And you're smelling it. It's like, whoa, that's like super strong. And yet you have to kind of be around it. Hopefully not too close to it, right? And you start to get used to it. You don't really smell it as much. And maybe somebody else comes in and they think, oh my gosh, that's really stinky. And you think, oh, I don't really even notice it anymore. And I think such is life in a lot of ways, right? A lot of different things that we do, especially if we spend a lot of time with it, the novelty begins to wear off. It gets to feel like, yeah, I've been here, I've done this. It's not as like interesting or exciting, really, right? I love it. I'm here, I'm doing the thing, but it doesn't have that, that newness to it. And I feel that although you do have confidence, you're still discovering so much, right? And this could apply, again, like I said, to anything. I mean, really, like within your career, your relationship, spiritual work, realigning your life in some way, right? Maybe you've moved, 15 times in your adulthood, and this will be the 16th, and you should feel probably like, okay, here goes another one, right? Saying this as somebody who's moved around quite a bit. But it doesn't always just feel like another move. Sometimes we know that this is this is something profound. There's something about this change that is occurring that feels more meaningful maybe than some of the other changes that we have undergone. And I want to take a look. Whoops. Just flipped you over. I did that one in one of my other readings the other day. Just flipped it right over. So we're going to pick 3 of these out. I want to see if the Oracle of the Radiant Sun here, if it's going to be able to help clarify a little bit. Kind of show me, maybe, what does this really have to do with, and what is going to happen, right? In the immediate now, in the next few days, in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so I'm going to flip through, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to pick 3 of them. So we have generosity. We have detachment, which that doesn't surprise me because we know you're making a change. There is something you are leaving to begin something else. If that's in the physical, emotional, or psychic. Now, so we have generosity, detachment, and idealism. right? And this could be somebody who is like a very utopian thinker. They're always looking at like the sunny side of things. You know, just really has this idea of life and the world and the things that they do in a way that, yeah, is maybe almost overly positive. Although, you know, this can be, well, quite helpful. And honestly, to meet an Aquarius that is an idealist, I don't think I've ever met one. Not to say that you are so pessimistic as maybe say like a Scorpio or maybe even us Virgos. I'm a solar Virgo. But I wouldn't really necessarily think of you as like an overly optimistic or utopic or, you know, romanticist or whatever. I think you like to live in your own reality, of course, and it is one that is interesting and stylized and you know, beautiful in a lot of ways, but not idyllic necessarily, right? Maybe parts of it. So it's interesting to see that energy occurring. And I think that really, to me, indicates that there is a lot of hope in this transition, right? There is a lot of meaning and excitement and yeah, and it being this star thing, this dream, this thing that seems so distant at one point. I'm pointing over it. I'm like, so distant, you know, and you've been reaching out for it, trying to grab it, you know, and you never thought that you might actually get that little tip of it and pull it in or pull yourself towards, right? And yet, an opportunity has revealed itself that you might actually be on the road to obtaining this thing, whatever it is. Can you think of what your ultimate goal in life is? I always have I have a lot of trouble. Like when you do, because I've done like a lot of like group support. I'm in like recovery. I go to 12-step type of stuff, AA, NA, you know, and therapy and just general kind of, you know, icebreakers and stuff like that. So I've been asked before, right? What is your ultimate goal in life? What is the thing that drives you? And I don't often know what to say. I don't know. I mean, I have something to say, and I think that this is honest, but it doesn't really make sense yet for me, right? And my biggest goal, at least one of them, I mean, I think there's maybe 2 or 3, but it is for me to uncover my original virtues. And what does that mean? I don't know. I'm learning. But I want to find out, what are those most primal, original virtues? Now, in the comments, I'm sure I will see some of the usually stated virtues, right? Kindness, patience. And yes, these are very important. But these virtues that I'm looking for are without name. I don't know that there is even an utterance for them, but I will find them. And I think that's the ultimate goal of my life. And it seems silly, doesn't it? It doesn't make sense. But it doesn't have to, does it? And so I wonder, what is your big goal? What is this thing that just fills you with desire, with inspiration, motivation, At times, probably torment and feeling a little lost, or like you have failed, or you have, you've not made enough headway. I understand that feeling all too well. But I wonder what your goal is. And I wonder if you've thought about it a lot lately. Because I think that, yes, it will be brought to that front part of your thinking, right? Your very conscious thinking. And I ultimately think that this opportunity will be unlocked. And I'm superstitious, so I do believe that one act definitely affects another, right? And so through generosity, and this does not have to be monetary, right? This is maybe one of the first things we think of is, giving money or resources to the people around us, our community, maybe your mosque or your church, you tithe, or, whatever. No, it's not just that. It could be time, right? That's the biggest thing, is giving people time, being with somebody, listening to them, doing acts of service, being there to help take care of people that you love, of people within your community that maybe need some help, right? Being a patron of the lands around you, maybe even just going out and picking up trash, right? I don't know if that sounds like a wonderful afternoon for most people, but I'm lucky to live in an area of the world where I don't know what it is about. It's not like where I grew up, right? There was a lot of trash, and there was a lot more it's way more populated. But even just in this general area I live in, the upper Midwest, I feel like the communities are really intentional about getting out there and cleaning up, right? And there are people that do spend their time doing these things, not court ordered necessarily. And, that might be something that is of, importance to you. And maybe that's where your generosity lies. But whatever it is, I feel like giving yourself over to being of service and giving of self, to be generous in some way, yeah, it does. It will open up, maybe directly. Maybe you meet somebody in your service work and they just happen to have a job available, right? Or they might just happen to know somebody that, I think you'd really like them. You should talk to them. And, you find a new magical partner or a new beloved or, whatever it is. And so I feel as you detach from this old way of living and you really dedicate yourself to the direction that you are going, yeah, there's a little bit of superstitious stuff going on, a little bit of magical thinking, if you will. But I also think that, yeah, your ability to really kind of look at your goal in this almost kind of idealistic place. Now, idealistic has become almost kind of a negative word, right? You're naive, you're a dreamer, you don't see the reality of things. Well, guess what? To innovate, to make change, we're not going to just sit and look at things how they are and say, well, this is just what it is, I guess that's it. No. You have to look at the world and think, you know what would be so beautiful? Maybe if I try this, it will enact some kind of, change, and we'll get closer to this utopia, this idealistic place that I'm interested in getting to. And so I think it's like that little touch of fairy dust in this context, right? It is that little, it's the thing that you need. And it might be absurd, it might feel absurd, but that's okay, because it's going to lend itself to show you the way. You have big dreams. You have a great imagination. Your heart is there and it's accessible. I see you opening and opening and opening, right? Like remember those older windows where they had you'd have to turn it? Well, in the car, that was the old cars, right? You'd roll it down. Or the windows, they kind of open like this. And I was always scared I was going to break those ones. But yeah, I see you opening that window in your heart. Allowing the light to flood in. Being a little bit more gleeful, maybe, than you are used to. Maybe a little bit more hopeful than you are used to. But I think this is going to be so helpful in your journey. All right, let's see. We have, it looks like a Z, the letter Z. We also have, it looks like an arrow and a kangaroo. So the arrow to me is love. I'm just going to go off of a basic symbolic connection. This is love. The kangaroo, mother. Always to me the mother, because it's a marsupial and they carry their little babies around in that pouch. And it is a very maternal energy. So I feel maybe you are in love with motherhood. Maybe that is your thing. Maybe you have found that you are an all mother. Now, it could be that you relate more to the masculine and you don't consider yourself the mother, or you don't necessarily, dwell in that mother archetype, which we all have the mother archetype, as we all have the father archetype within us, right? You maybe don't dwell there as much, but I see you coming into that space. And what does that mean? The mother is a creator. The mother can create something from nothing. The mother is unstoppable. The mother will do whatever she has to do if you understand or not, right? How many times have we seen stories of mothers that can do things that are just beyond comprehension? It is that classic story of, the mother lifting an entire front end of a car to get their kid out from under there. You would think, how did she do that? It's the adrenaline, obviously, right? Well, maybe partially, but there's just something about the mother goddess, the mother energy, mother consciousness. It breaks down almost every barrier. Now, maybe not all the time, but in those certain moments. And in my estimation here, you are at a place where you will do what you need to do, and you will do it well, and you will have something at the end of it all, right? You will create what you set out to create. You will obtain what you set out to obtain. You will discard what you must. This is a true process of transmutation going on here. And so, yes, I see that we have the love in this space as well. And I think it comes down to being so very activated in this role. Do you love it always? Maybe not. It's a lot. It's intense to be the mother. If you are somebody who has mothered or, had children, raised children, you're not going to love every second of it. You might not even love 50% of it. It's a lot. You have a lot of responsibilities. It's a lot of navigating. It's a lot of emotional and mental gymnastics. And all while you are so very tired on top of it, right? And yet you persist. And yet you go on. And yet you are so empowered here. And so I see this and I think, yes, this is it. This is a wonderful time for you. Now we also have fish down here. I'm counting 5 fish, okay? And that means to me that there's going to be quite an abundance of money. Now, I don't think that it'll all be in one lump sum. I think that it'll be some here, maybe a little bit here, a little bit more over here. But the money will be coming in, okay? So be patient. Stay doing what you're doing, moving forward, getting that horse ready. You're going to get right on there and get going. I can feel it. Now we have the gratitude affirmation cards, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. It says, restful haven. I am thankful for the gift of shelter. My haven protects me from the elements and offers me safe respite. Yeah, that's right. Practice. Take a moment and give thanks for the dwelling place you call home. No matter how big or small, your shelter is a protective haven. Your shelter is a protective haven. Oh, yes. This one reminds me of after a long, long day on a cold, when a long day and it's a cold day, right? Crawling into bed and getting all bundled up like a little, I always think of myself like a little squirrel climbing into my nest. Getting all nice and bundled up. I'm safe, I'm warm, and I get to sleep, my favorite. All right, Aquarius, I want to tell you I love you and I thank you for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel a lot. If you want to subscribe, I'd love for you to do so. Hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. I read them all. It might take me a day or two to get back to you, but I will, or I'll heart it, And what else? If you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments section. And with that, I'm going to tell you again, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk again real soon. Good night.